Right, we're on. We're on.
You're farming, we?
Big Steve.
We're up and running.
He's back on. The only guy we've had on twice. How you do, big fella?
I'm okay. Not so bad. Yeah, I'm feeling good. I've had a busy day. So it's the only job where I'm busier when I'm not working.
It must be nice to call pull your job though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it feels brilliant. I like saying it to my wife and or when I catch up with some of the boys, because I'm arranging a Christmas beer and they're like, oh, I'm gonna be on your team when we play pool. All right, sorry, but I'm not working tomorrow. It's my day off.
You've posted that a few times on Facebook. It always tickles me where you're like, oh, working again.
Yeah. No, it's good.
No, really good. But
it does feel like work now, though. I look at it differently. I do.
Technically, it's your job, isn't it? No,
Yeah,
never used to be. Remember those days, Steve? It wasn't your job.
We've had many chats about that, haven't we?
Yeah, that was amazing. But as I say, like today, really, I want to also we're doing this process between myself and James. We're obviously doing a pod with each one of the supported players. Now at the end of 2025, and I kind of I wept at this. I traded with James doing. He got to do Kelly Fisher if I got to do Big Steve. So that was.
Yes, no, that means the world to me. That does. I appreciate that.
So James,
like when you're in school and you got to pick teams, did you pick me above Shep?
Yeah, exactly. So I've got so I did. Well, we're obviously we've recorded. So I've recorded. These will all be going out over Christmas, New Year kind of period. But I've recorded Sean's story last week. That was fun. And then last night, Ryan England, who's turned pro now and done so well, and I've got yourself. And then right after we've finished this, I've got Mr. Waddington to do, her good friend there. Right. So that will be exciting. But James can do the headline act. But it's like Sheppy said, isn't it? Like bizarre, like He said to me the other day, it's just like God, Big Steve's. He's got to be like your star player this year, eh? And I'm like, well, yeah, it has. I mean, I'm amazing as years like say Emma's had as well, but like God, I think your share of trophies is even more. Well done, well done, Phil. Yeah. It's extraordinary.
That's the difference you brought, pal. And obviously, it's been a process, hasn't it? And it's taken a couple of years, but the more it's easier in some ways to forget what we've learned because it feels just so natural now to just play my own game and relax and do all the things you've taught me. And subconsciously, you think that it's your doing, but every now and then you kind of brings it back to you that you think, well, I only got this skill set because of what I done with Noel. So it's not all my doing because it's what I've learned with Noel in the background is what's coming to the forefront now in my game subconsciously. And it's been a long process, but it feels like it's drummed in so much to me now that I don't really need to think about our processes. I naturally go onto the table relaxed. Although it's work, and so you'd think, well, there's a lot more pressure on it now because you're potting balls to put food on the table. But
yeah,
it doesn't feel that way. It totally feels like I look at it like, well, I've got umpteen chances to prove myself now. I'm playing every week. I was on 50 plus flights last year, going to tournament after tournament after tournament. So if I don't do it today, then I'll do it in the next event. So
yeah,
it's the opportunities are plenty, and now I get a chance to just relax and not put so much pressure on every single event.
Well, you've just been so consistent. It's been such a joy to watch. I've not enjoyed getting up at 4 in the morning or staying up till 2 a.m. to watch your games and stuff. I've not enjoyed that. So if you could fix that a bit, that would be better. But it's just such a joy to be sat right here where I'm right now. Watching what you've done this year is just absolutely remarkable. And when it gets these deciders, like there's been so many of them, you kind of, I know who I've got my money on, kind of thing,
Cheers, Paul. Yeah, no, I see a difference in myself under the crunch now. When you're playing at the top standard, there's always going to be deciders. Like the last event I was playing in Sharm el Sheikh, and it was 7-6 with me and Sheppy, and
yeah,
it was literally the toss of a coin because we both played absolutely outstanding. The way I played against Shep, he's as good as I've ever played in my life, but it was just a flip of a coin. And there are so many deciders where I'm holding it together a lot better. Like Shep, he said to me himself, he said, in his eyes, it's unbelievable what progress I've made in my game in the last year, is what he said to me. Seeing it at the right times as well, holding it together when I need to and whatnot. And I do feel it myself. Although I did have a dabble back in English pool a month or so ago, and I was so bad that it just made me question where I just thought I was a total fraud. I thought, surely to God, I cannot be this bad.
yeah.
Well, in English pool when I'm doing so well in Heyball, and I thought, well, maybe that's it. My run's come to an end. But then I got back on the Heyball table and I felt normal again. And
yeah, no, that's great.
like I'm at a point where my game's actually as feels as good as it's ever been. And today I was practicing, and it was a few weeks ago. You left me a few voice notes about trying to take it up a notch and looking at the future. And
Yeah.
realistically, you always think, well, there's stages you can make progress, but then there's China and the super stations out in China, and compete against them top boys, because they've always been a different world to everyone else. And obviously you talked to me a while back about aiming for competing to a standard where I'm contesting for a title, like a major title in China.
Yeah.
And you know what? Practicing today, I truly believe that that's possible. And I if I'd have said that to you 6 months ago, I'd have just been kidding myself. As confident as I was feeling and having a decent run and whatnot, you've got to be realistic. But now I do think my game is at a place where I think that I can realistically look at those places as an option to aim for.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, obviously you've had an absolutely amazing year, as we'll go into deeper, but it's like, of course, that there can be more to come. We can trump that in 26. Of course we can. But I think ultimately it's the same for any player. Like, you don't know what your ceiling is. Right? You don't know what your potential is. You might never find out what your potential is. All we know is, for sure, it's not been reached yet. That there's more to come, and there is, because obviously, the Chinese lads obviously have been playing this game and this game only since they were kids. And obviously you guys have been playing a number of different cue sports, and there still seem to be a gap. And so that's just the next kind of mountain to climb, is getting on top of that and doing that. And I think they absolutely can. It's not different to what we've done in the past, Steve, is it? I mean, it's like, like if you were to describe 2025 to Steve from 2022, it would have been hard for you to take in that this was possible, right?
Yeah, you're right there.
It's just been such a remarkable year, in your consistency. So let me try and get this right. I've got it on my phone. Hang on. This might take a while. So
Well,
this is
I'll make a start because
do it.
something that I reflect on was I know I won the GB9s to kickstart things, and that they were my first. I'd always wanted to win something on a kind of national scale, something of significance. I've been telling Wardy for years I'm going to win something significant soon, and obviously he probably laughed it off. But a British title, although it wasn't in my chosen sport, that's what kick-started it, the GB9s. But then the biggest shift for me was winning the European Heyball, because that was my first major title, a proper title, and that was in the Q sport I play for a living. And I twitched up in the semi-final. I think it was like a race to 7, and I was 6-5 in front, and I'd done all the hard work, and I had a major twitch on a long ball, my last ball before the black, and it was just like a long one stunning in for a black over the middle pocket, and I threw an arm at it, and I twitched, and lucky enough I held that game together to clear up the decider, and I did slightly twitch in the decider as well, but I'd learned from what I'd just done to just hold it together enough for it to twitch but still go in a bit. And if I'd have lost that semi-final, or even losing the final to Clint, that win was what kick-started everything for me, because if I hadn't have won the European, then I wouldn't have been able to get a spot in the Champion of Champions as a champion. So I wouldn't have gone to Australia and got a third place out there. I wouldn't have been chasing the #1 spot, so I wouldn't have gone to Peru because there was a lot going on at home, and I only went to Peru because I was chasing that #1 spot. So I wouldn't have won the Peru event. I wouldn't have got to Australia, and I wouldn't be anywhere near the top of the rankings. Obviously, it'd still be top 10, but I wouldn't possibly still wouldn't have a big win under my belt. So that European was so significant for me to beat Clint in the final. Kick-started so much, and I've had that was the first of 5 podiums since then.
Do you think, like, because like listening to you there, like, was it kick-starting everything? Was it the result, or the fact that you twitched twice in a match and you were drowning a bit, but you still found a way to win? Like, was that the turning point? Or
Yeah,
was it
probably.
the result?
Yeah, I've never looked at it in that way, to be honest. I just kind of, I'm just looking at results, and I suppose that's opposite to what you've been teaching me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I suppose it's easy to fall back into to the normal ways, what we've always known as players for so many years, and it's little things that you keep bringing to my knowledge that I think, yeah, and they make a big difference. But I remember us on the phone outside the hotel before that final, saying to you, "Well, could not give a shit if I win or lose because it's progress again. This
Yeah.
is a final, and so what if I lose? I was ready to just enjoy." And when you
Yeah.
look back at how significant winning actually was, it would have been a different conversation if that's where our focus was. But for the right reasons, our focus wasn't on there. Our focus was on relaxing, enjoying, getting the best out of ourselves, looking at the progress again that we've, and taking it from there.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, I mean, like watching all this, I only know because of our good mutual friend, Lee Walker, right? Walker always tells me, because obviously he's done both, right? He's been the player at a high level, obviously. Walker's made the quarterfinals Snooker World Championship. And it's like, and then obviously he's the coach as well, like, these days with Will and various other players. And he says is the same, like, because he's done both, and he's the only man I know who has really, right, at a high level. He says, hands down, it's much harder watching than it is playing. So
Yeah,
for
you
me,
keep reminding me of that.
for me this year, like watching, but you relax me, because it's not like I'm a bit antsy watching, but like you're on the other side of the world, and I'm watching, but like you're so it calms me down when not so much about the result and not so much about your kind of performance. It's just like how well like you're dealing with it, and I can see even if you've made an error and lost the back off the end of that, like you're the camera's on you, and it's like how the commentators are talking about you and stuff, it's just like it's fine.
It
To win
doesn't
this.
feel fine on mine. Maybe I'm asking it well, but yeah, I think yeah, I still contest with you. I think it feels easier to me watching it back than when I'm playing it.
Well, maybe you'll find out one day. Maybe like 20 years from now,
Hopefully.
you'll be mentoring players, young players. The
Yeah.
next Welsh talent that's coming through might even be a boy, and to
Yeah.
to do the same as you've done, and then we'll see, won't we?
Yeah. Well, I do think of the scars I must have given my dad over the years because
Yeah.
oh my God, the amount of balls I've missed for significant things like I miss it literally black on a snooker table, like a black ball frame, and it's dangling in the pocket, and I still can't finish it off. And yeah, I must have tortured the poor man for so many years. But hey, here we are. I'm doing
It's
it now.
different now. But like for you and Sheppy meeting each other, obviously two players that I've worked with well, it's been my longest 2-7 players that I've worked with is you and Sheppy, and it's like you two meeting each other in the semi final. I was available. I was here. I had the link and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not watching that. I'm like absolutely not watching that because I'm like can't be cheering anybody on. It's just that there's no good coming out of that. I did watch the scoreboard, which was horrific enough without watching it, and then obviously, now it gets through to the final, and no, obviously, like watch that, and I know that was great, but you were just, you know, like I've been so many instances, I've been so proud of you all year, but it's like your message to me, after losing that semi final to our good friend, Sheppy, it's like, you were so magnanimous in defeat, and you're like, God, he was, that's the best I've ever played and I've lost, and Sheppy was incredible when he won that. Let's just hope he goes through and wins this now, and you're cheering him on, despite being, minutes earlier being big competitors, that it's just Mark and Big Steve, it's just it's how you roll, man.
Cheers, pal. Yeah.
It was good.
It makes it
How
easier,
did
I
you watch
suppose,
that
when
final?
you're supporting the guy you lose to, because
Yeah,
I've been close to Shep for the last year, really close, and so I know everything he's been going through, and what his mind's like towards how desperate he is to get a big win on the Heyball table and whatnot, and
yeah,
it makes it a lot easier to accept the loss when you know that meant progress for him, So yeah, it's easier when it's your mate. So plus the thing, there's so many of us mates now on the Heyball tour, and the Brits seem to be doing pretty well. So yeah, there's a bit of rivalry between us all, but I do feel that we do all support each other as well. Obviously, maybe it's a mature thing, but years ago, it's such a dog eat dog feeling on the circuit. Everyone's like, "Oh, come on, mate," but really they're wishing each other to lose. But it doesn't feel like that anymore. It feels like we're all there to take it serious, and it's great seeing the success of the boys. Like the year Jack Whelan's had is fantastic, and it's brilliant on them, and there doesn't seem to be much jealousy between players on the circuit and whatnot. I think there's so many opportunities these days as well with what Joy are doing, and we're all getting our fair share of chances, and yeah, it's been a good year on the table. There's been a lot of traveling.
Yeah,
A lot of winnings.
and Clint as well, eh? I mean, Clint's had an
Yeah,
amazing year as well.
brilliant.
Just incredible. And Jack,
So
just what fabulous players, and and here's you, at your best as well. Doing great, and then Sheppy's mixing it up, as well. Sometimes, which is just great to see.
to see Sheppy now at number 3 in the world is brilliant. And obviously got Arvin Dad. We've just pipped him again. He's down to 4, so that made me laugh a bit because we love Arvin, but he must be fuming that we've both pipped him. But like Arvin's a British lad as well, and this
Yeah,
you got the top 4 in the world are all British lads, and you got Clint winning. I think he played in like 5 or 6 events and been to a final in every single one of them. Obviously, the second event in Australia he didn't. That was probably the first time he'd not been in a final. So that just shows the strength of the British players at the minute. And you
yeah,
got the next stop for me is Brisbane again for the 3rd time in January for the World Cup, the first ever Heyball World Cup. And it's Team GB is a 3-man team. And you've got the likes of Sheppy, who's top 3 in the world, and Clint, who's the current champion of all champions across the world. And neither of them are in the team because that it's just obviously it's a close battle between us all, but it just goes to show the strength that the Britain's got. So yeah, hopefully we can keep it up because I don't think we're many years off a Brit winning something major in China again.
yeah,
I don't think like I said, I've got aspirations myself, but you know there's Gareth Potts, Jack Whelan, Clint, Sheppy. There's so many players, and I think a British player, in the next few years will win another major title in China. Obviously, Potts done it with the Douya, but I mean Joy. I mean a Joy title.
yeah.
It's definitely coming from someone soon enough because I don't think those Chinese are that far in front anymore.
It's kind of fascinating, isn't it? Because it's like obviously you keep doing the same thing, you'll keep getting the same result, So it's like, despite as we've kind of touched on prep for next year already, and we'll do that, a lot after New Year. We'll put some good bit of time into this, but it's really like it, it it's such an opportunity because like out of the 5-6 years really we are fan as well, it's like who's going to make another, who's going to step on another quick or two this year, for 2026, and it's like, trying to, obviously, because, some of yous will get left behind by 1 or 2 or years that shine some more, and really kick on again. And, it's just trying to make sure that, it's, obviously that you're part of that, because obviously, like we're no sat on, this amazing year, and obviously this is a world I'm used to, in elite sport. You wouldn't see, like Liverpool this season might be a bad example compared to last season, but it's like but you don't see, McLaren obviously won everything in F1 this year, but it's like they're not sat there, they're constantly looking for how can we do even better the year after. Yeah, we're world champions, we're number 1, all the rest of it, but it's like how can we do even more? And obviously, that's what we've done season on season on season, and this is where you're at now, but I'm just guiding Steve in the right bit, like Steve, you've been the one doing the graph, buddy. It's great.
Yeah, no, cheers, Paul. It's been enjoyable. It's not felt like too much craft, but I suppose it does at times, and you can feel a difference when you're improving. It shows itself in a few different ways, and certainly something I've felt a few times this year is I felt myself improving.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, so last 16 in Joy Superstation, you were the last in that event, right? You were the last Brit, the last
I
non-China
was, yeah.
person
It's
in the event, right?
Potts had gone out, Whelan was out, and I think those two were the only two that had made it through to the top 32 when they bailed
Yeah.
out of that. And then I was still going there. And the guy who beat me, he was quite an hour, like I can't remember too well, but I think it was a heavy win. And he made the final. And I was flying. And he beat me because, like we've had the conversations about it. When it's his day, it's his day.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and it was his day. You know, he wasn't like there's people looking at the draw going, "Oh, you've pulled a nice one there for the last 16." And I'm thinking, no, I ain't, because I've seen this kid play. And I thought he'll soon show that he's not a good pick for a last 16. And like he did, he proved he beat a few, the top Chinese after again and got himself all the way. He lost to Binji in the final. And I could see he was absolutely flying, because I've seen him play before and he was never that good. But it was definitely his time, because I played very well. And he was like faultless, yeah. And but I think, like I said, I wouldn't be fearing playing him again, because I feel like I'm improving as well. Even since then, I feel like I've improved again. So
I
but I
would
haven't
hope
been to
so.
China since July. It's killing me. I've been there, but only to see my sponsor and have a few days training and whatnot, ready for another event. But I haven't actually played in China since July, and it's doing my head in, because I'm seeing the Joy event is on again now. But so it's the warm-up event now, and then the Superstation main event starts on the 27th. So it would mean flying on Christmas Day, because it's a day and a half to get there. And it's just, it's just not doable for me. So, I missed out on India last week, and I'll be missing the Joy event, so which will be the third Joy event in a row I'll have missed, which is, obviously I don't look good for my contract either, but it's because I played in so many other Joy events anyway around the world. But I haven't been to China for a while, and I'm really missing playing in China, because the last time I was there was 6 months ago, and I've improved since then. And I got to the last 16 back then, and I'm itching to go back and play in another big one, and maybe it'll come soon. But I don't think the next big one now with Joy in China will be until the grand finals, which is usually around March time. So if you want to have a good run, that's the one to have a good run in, because there's 700
Right.
grand up for grabs.
Just the 700 grand.
Yeah, well, it's dream money for all the players, and
Yeah.
everyone always mentions it. Oh, I'm off to play in China, 700 grand for the winner. But everyone goes, yeah, but who's winning that? But you never know, pal. You never know. So,
No, yeah, totally achievable. I
yeah,
think, absolutely. So it's really it's just been just really awesome. I've got I've got a screenshot of that somewhere. It's one of my favourite pictures of the year. Even more so than you holding trophies. Is just like there was a screenshot of the last 16, and there was like 15 Chinese flags and one British one.
that's it. Yeah,
Awesome. Absolutely.
beautiful.
Yeah, just tickle me pink. That was absolutely amazing. Really, really, really good. And then obviously like European Open. Where was that again? Remind me. European Open
Germany,
has been filmed.
Germany. That was, yeah,
Germany, right? Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So
And
that.
these events they look really slick, right?
Oh, they're great. Yeah, yeah. That's what Joy you're doing now. Obviously, they're trying to make it a global sport rather than a Chinese sport, all for this Olympic campaign. And so
Yeah,
they've launching different global series. There's going to be more in Europe next year as well, by the sounds of it, which is good.
great.
There'll be a couple of Europe stops, which will be great. And there's talk of more prize money, more events. It's always more with Joy. So it's sometimes you feel like you missed the boat getting involved, but it just keeps on getting bigger. So there's always opportunity for more players to get involved, and I think it will keep growing. But the setup, yeah, is it's incredible. Some events don't run as smooth as others because it's over to the national federations to host the events. But Joy do provide all the equipment. They provide them with the tables and the new cloths and whatnot. And the last one, Sharm el Sheikh, was probably my favorite so far because like the conference. So it was like a 5-star resort in Sharm el Sheikh on the beach, and the conference center is where the venue was. And so you play your match and then you go back to the pool, and well, what it's like if you've been to Sharm, all inclusive, bloody brilliant. So yeah, it was one of the toughest weeks working I've had.
It's a tough life for you,
Yeah,
you and Sheppy. And it did, I can't remember if it was you or Sheppy said that tickled me when it was in China when there was like the cameraman was at this big venue, right? And there's like a kind of red carpet outside, like down the steps, and then this limousine pitches up, and you and Sheppy are getting out of it, and it's like the cameraman's like going and stopping. There's people carrying your cues and stuff for you. It's like you have turned up like the Rolling Stones or something.
Yeah. No, it's great being in China. I do love being in China. And me and Shep are part of Team Kailin, and we're so lucky to be part of Team Kailin because what a great bunch of people, and they don't half look after you. And
Yeah, I've seen
yeah,
some of the
yeah,
hotels you've stayed in.
yeah. Well, that's your friendships have grown so much with people in China. I do love the Chinese people, and especially those at Kailin. I'm incredibly grateful for what they've done for me. It's really been a game changer for both me and Sheppy, I think. And so I'll be heading back there in January for a few days practice before I go up to Brisbane to play the World Cup. And I think that Sheppy and Arvan are going to be there as well at the same time, so that'll be nice to catch up with them.
Yeah,
Although we're crossing paths from different events, but yeah, that'll be nice to spend some time in China with them. I think I'm at a stage I could live in China, to be honest with you. I do like going there, and it's certainly not what everyone had told me it was going to be, including yourself, because
yeah. Well, it's clearly changed a bit since I was there a lot, in years gone by.
But you'll be there soon enough, Noel. I look forward to the day where you watch the final of a Joy Super Tour with
No,
with one of us in it.
absolutely. Yeah, no, I'd love to, like you say, like as like obviously, we all have our kind of goals and aspirations, and that's certainly for me too. I want to come to these events with you guys, and that'd be great, and we'll see what happens. It's certainly what we're working towards, and obviously heading stateside and stuff as well. With everything that's happening in America, with Kelly and all the rest of it. That's super exciting as well. So it's been an amazing year. Not just like what you guys have done, but it's things are progressing on in the right direction. The hub's growing all the time, but largely thanks to the results you guys are getting. Which drives the whole thing on because clearly content works, right?
Yeah. Well, that's it. It's not what we're doing; it's what you've helped us do, and then that pushing that back. It's momentum both ways.
Yeah, it's just nudging it in the right direction. And London was great. I mean, I was like, obviously, I was I think I was with Sheppy in the morning and afternoon at Murphy's in Doncaster, and there was a comp on there. So watched him do what Sheppy does standard, for a few balls, and then jumped in the car and drove like a bat out of hell down to London, rushed round the M25 to get in, 15 minutes before your GB9 final started. You know, it was, that was fun. It was just, amazing.
That was, yeah. It was it was so nice to have you there. And I know my sponsor Wayne really wanted to be there too, but he was at an IPA event same weekend, and so he's missed one. You know, he's missed out on a few finals, and I know how much he loves to be there. That's it'll be coming soon. I think he's going to be coming out to China in for the grand finals, which will be brilliant to see him coming abroad with a few of the boys. I think there's a few players he sponsors on the IPA, and I think he's trying to get a few of them out to China to get involved in the grand finals. You know, that's an event that keeps getting bigger and bigger, and I think, you know, they're close to 700 players this year, with 80 odd players from India, because the sport is growing so big in India. You know, well, India, they've only got snooker. They haven't actually got pool in India. So for somewhere like India, Heyball gives a great alternative to snooker. You know, trying to break into like the US or whatever with Heyball is a lot more difficult when they've got, you know, pool tables with massive pockets, and that's a lot easier for people to play and have fun doing in your standard club. Whereas India is all snooker. So Heyball offers that alternative to snooker without it being a harder game than what they're used to. So it's grown massively in India, and it does, you know, it's on the news all the time. It keeps growing and growing. And I was chatting to some of the Indian players, because there was 80 of them at the grand finals this year in March, and they were saying that the next year they were expecting it to be about 300 Indian players going to the Joy Superstation. So I don't know whether he'll end up changing, because he offers free hotels for everyone who turns up to that event, and there's 700 people on free hotels this year. So, and if it's going to grow again, then fair play to Mr. Chow and what he's doing for the sport. Unbelievable. Sorry about the dogs. I got one barking now from the other room. There's one snoring on the couch next to us the whole time, and another one now. He's half blind, and he can see my silhouette through the window, and he's barking at me. So, yeah.
So it's so good.
You got to love the dogs.
It's funny because, you know, we've no chatted for a couple of weeks, but it's oh God, it's terrible. I'm so bad with names. But I had a nice chat back and forth with a guy who has an academy in India.
So his name will either be Pranit or Shivam. Pranit.
Yeah.
Lovely guy.
It's a nice chat, and he obviously reached out to me and was chatting, and he's on the hub now, which is brilliant. And he was very complimentary about that, and very complimentary about you boys too. And it's just like, it's great. I'm forever like teaching players this the same, right? You know, it's like we become who we hang about with. Right? Yeah. Show me your friends, I'll show you your future. Right? And for me, it's like I've always been very resolute with that. It's only quality people, you know, like so you guys, you know, and testament to that is again, you and I haven't spoken about this because this just happened last week. I'm now working with April Larson.
Okay, yeah, lovely girl, April.
Yeah. And like what she was saying about you and Sheppy, like, you know, it's just like, oh God, those two, they're just amazing, just the best people. And whenever they're playing, I'm there beside, like I watch every one of their games, and she's just like idolizing. Oh, Big Steve, just amazing. You know?
She makes me laugh because I knew who April was before I come on the scene, because she's quite a big name in the US.
Yeah,
I think I'd heard of her before, and then now we're at events, and she's asking for selfies with me and Sheppy, and we're thinking she's just on a wind up. Like, what are you doing now, April? I thought she's winding us up because she's our mate, but she's going, no, I want a selfie. So I still don't know whether she's having a joke or whether she genuinely wanted a selfie. But
No,
she's won.
massive fan. Yeah, no, absolutely, no, and it was kind of like Kelly Fisher kind of set this up because obviously, like, I was looking for some, American players to help Eastwood Hub USA and along, and Kelly Fisher kind of mentioned April, and then we got together on a call like this, and we were just like amazing how many mutual friends and stuff we have, and then she like kind of like mentioned about like Stephen Shep and stuff.
I'm
It's
surprised you
like,
didn't need a translator between you.
no, it was good actually. She's done well. Obviously, as you know, I've travelled to go a fair bit as well, but it's like it the nations that are struggle the most are European with
Yeah.
the accent. I've found. How have you found that actually?
Oh, crikey, I don't know. I've been to too many places now. It's
You find it's okay everywhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think people just nod and pretend they can hear me and understand me. I think I talk too fast, but I do find myself though. A few people have said to me, "Why are you talking so strange?" Like because when you're in China and you're being interviewed,
Yeah, yeah,
you talk on their level because they still don't understand a word you're saying. But you watch what everyone does it the same. You like watch Gareth Potts interviews out in China, and you can't talk normal to the Chinese like people interviewing you. You've got to just slow it completely down. So I find myself doing
yeah.
that more. And I think my son said to me, I was doing it to someone in Sharm el Sheikh, and he's like, "The guy talks English. What are you? Why are you talking strange for?" But yeah, I can't help myself really sometimes.
It's certainly a difficulty. Like obviously these days with AI and Chat GPT and all that techie stuff. Obviously James, who my partner, he does all the techie stuff, right? He's the techie guys. But like obviously some of the like he might make a new Facebook ad, or whatever, right? And then you've seen it on Facebook, and they've got the text going on the bottom of the screen, right? Well, for if you were an English person, that's just automated. You just put that in the program, and it'll do all that automatically for you. It doesn't work if you're Scottish. No, no. Just like it doesn't work at all.
You need a Scottish AI.
Nonsense, like absolute nonsense, got all the bottom of the screen. So he's got to sit there and do it manually, like type all that, and it's just like a nightmare. And then like we're getting requests from like China to put the program in, like can have me, but the preference seems to be rather than have a Chinese person say sit in and do it and read it all out. The preference seems to be that it's me, but obviously with subtitles. And James is like, that's like, because he's going to be sat there for 3 months, turning all this into text. It's just, I don't know what we're going to do to move forward there. But the Americans seems to be okay just now, to be honest.
Good. Good.
Either that or they're just really good at nodding and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, but it does seem. But yeah, no, April's lovely and just brilliant, and it's just good. Like as often like she said to me, like we're a couple of kind of sessions in now, and she kind of said, it totally makes sense now. Why the players in our group are doing so well, because obviously it's not just you. Obviously it's Sheppy and maybe Talbot, Emma Cunningham, and Sean and Waddington as well. Now they're just doing so well. So it's been a really fun year, and I'm super grateful for it. Because if you guys don't apply yourselves, then the whole thing comes to naught. It's but you're doing that so much. But obviously, like with the year you've had, how do you like using this as an opportunity to help other players, because obviously you've got players of all sorts of like abilities, like listening to this, like and you're as you say number 2 in the world, and there's a tiny few players on the planet that have had more success than you. Like, what advice would you give them?
Well, I think that there's been a few kind of fundamental changes of things you've said, which have just kind of like really hit home. And the first one, everyone's talked about it for years about just enjoying and having fun and whatnot. And that is actually the answer. And I used to hear people say, like Ben Davis said this a few times, and I'd always go, yeah, yes, right, but I'd never actually take it on board. But when you actually said about making your goal to have fun and not making your goal just winning, that was one of the first things that fundamentally changed everything for me. I thought if I can come off the table, lose, and say I had fun, because I couldn't have fun if I lost. That's what it was. You know what I mean? You can have, easy to go out there and have fun. If you win, I did have fun. But I thought, well, I could never. If I lose, I would be in bits, and I'd be so frustrated replaying the shots I'd missed and the opportunity I threw away. And I thought, if I can actually play a game, throw away opportunities that are staring me in the face, miss silly balls, and actually come off the table and still say, I enjoyed that. That will be a fundamental change for me, and that was the first challenge. And when I actually made enjoying the target and not winning the target, that was a big thing for me. And so that's one thing I'd say to people is try actually being able to lose with a smile. That's your first challenge. Because if you can do that, then all of a sudden you start realizing that, like you said, it's how quick you get over mistakes and put them behind you is the easiest thing to talk about and the hardest thing to do. And once you start actually doing that, those, you don't, you always, it's so easy to remember the misses and this, that, and the other, but you forget, like, you've missed one, but 9 times out of 10, those are the exact same shots that you could have missed and been in the same boat, but you actually have accomplished them, and you forget them instantly because you potted it and you're happy and you move on. And a kind of 9 out of 10 strike rate ain't bad, but you don't feel that way because it's the one that just sticks in your mind. So if you can actually just forget about the pain and the missing and actually just make the challenge to get the best out of yourself, not to win. That's that's another thing you said to me. Make your target getting the best out of yourself. Don't make your target winning. Winning is just the symptom, not the cause. And,
absolutely.
That was So once I started doing that, like we're talking about stepping it up now next year and whatever. But I feel like I'm at a place where those steps that I have taken seem to be quite a lot to have carried me through more than I realized, because it don't feel like steps anymore. It just feels like relaxing and enjoying. And then the improvement is coming from my standard generally improving. But I'm still feel the same. It's just, because I've accomplished what I needed to have the skill set to actually win. Because I'm not trying with all my might to win. I'm just trying to relax and get the best out of myself. And if you win, you win. If you don't, you don't. That's what it is. So, but now that I've subconsciously relaxed around the table, the improvement is coming from just being at it all day, playing all the time, playing tournaments all the time. You still feel under pressure at those times, but it's easier to handle when your goals are in a different place. Your mind's on a different target.
Yeah, no, what I see is like somebody who's what fascinates me more. Obviously, I tend to look at it a bit more kind of clinically and scientifically, I suppose, if you like, But like what I see, the change in you is you're able to enjoy it, like kind of cause and effect. Like the effect is more you're like enjoying it more, but the cause is more. For me, over the years, your relationship to failure has changed. Where we're no longer trying to push failure away, and it's like this is shit. I don't want that. I'm just kind of pushing it away. You're much more kind of embracing and understanding. Failure's an absolutely essential part of the journey. Like the tide comes in and out, and it has to come in and out. It can't just keep coming in all the time and winning. The tide's got to come in and out, isn't it?
If I'm going to do this full time as a job, I'm certainly going to be having failure stabbing me in the face all the time.
Well, every player is, no matter what level they're playing at, right?
Sure. Even the best champions, when you look at their records, that video from Federer where he's on the stage talking about the amount of shots he's missed compared to titles he's won and points he's missed, and the figures are staggering because he breaks it down in layman's terms. If you're going to do it as a job, you're going to be failing 95% of the time as the best that ever picked up a cue, if that's what you are. You're still going to fail 95% of the time. But
it's funny, I think on the last pod, Ryan had mentioned the same thing, because obviously I sent that video to all of you. And but like basically for others, if you just go into Google and type in, Federer on success, and he talks about that. I think the stat was he won of the points that he played. So each individual player, of the points that he played in his career, he won 53% of them, and then became obviously one of the best players of all time off the back of 53% win. That's all, just over half. That was the difference between being an icon or not. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's mad. So, like you said, you've taught me to put your focus in different areas. And back to the question of what can you tell people? Go back to the roots. You just got to enjoy the game and accept that you're gonna be missing. You're gonna be losing. It's not about whether you can stop missing and losing. It's whether you can get over missing or losing. Whether you're going to lose focus into the past, and or whether you're just going to carry on and not let it get to you.
Yeah. I mean, I think obviously, like, again, kind of byproduct to that is obviously you've been in the moment, and I think you've been unbelievably supreme at that. That this coming season, letting the past go, no fear in the future, being right here, right now, in this moment. And that's part of your process to get the best of yourself. And I think you've done an unbelievably great job of that. It's really good because obviously, like, we're so long together. I mean, God, obviously, like, we know each other like super well. We spent so much time together, and obviously, you can tell where I'm at. And if I'm under the weather or worried about something or whatever, as I will be because I'm human. And also for you, like on the table, I can watch and see kind of like where you're at. I mean, obviously, I'm aware. It's like Steve's good at hiding. If you are a bit stressy or freaking out or whatever, you're good at hiding that. But similarly, it's great to see that kind of body language and you can see yourself, like change. That's why it's so thrilling for me. It's like there's aspects of the game, obviously, like if you get out of position, because I'm not a player, I don't notice that really. I don't see the patterns. I don't know which ball you're going to play next. I've absolutely no idea, but I can see the body language and how you're kind of reacting and stuff. And that's super exciting. So it's been amazing and such fun, like watching you this year. I can't wait for more next year. Let's do it again.
Well, although like I say, I've improved a lot. I've still struggled an awful lot, and the difference now is I've won so many matches struggling. Honestly, like there's been times where I've really been struggling bad. I don't want to swear, but I've been really struggling bad and still managed to win just because of being able to leave things in the past and just crack on, just keep battling. Is there, some games have felt like wars. It's easy when you fly in and you steamroller someone, but when you're getting chances and you're struggling and whatnot, and like that's a huge difference there, as well as the improvement of your A game. The improvement of my C and D game has been just as much to it's helped me just as much as the improvement of my A game, because I've been struggling so many tournaments and just still managed to like come off the tail. I think, how on earth did I win that? I was 5-2 down. I was absolutely all over the place, and I just slogged the way through to get to 5-4, and then all of a sudden momentum has changed, and and that's just because I'm not letting losing get to me and leaving the past in the past.
Yeah, and just
using the whole match as a process that we follow. How do I improve? What do I do to change? How do I get better?
Yeah.
And half the time it doesn't work what I'm thinking, but I still try something else and just hang in there, and it's frame by frame, ball by ball, and it's amazing what you can comebacks you can actually make and see momentum shifting when you just keep plugging away at something, whether you're flying or not.
Yeah, it's certainly something I've taken from the golf world. It's like like obviously I've spent most of my career in golf and motor racing, but it's really like a golfer's career isn't defined by their A game, because to be honest, Tiger's A game or some of my players' A games, it's almost identical, really. They can all do unbelievably amazing stuff, just like your A game and Jack's A game or Clint's or Shep's or anybody else. It's so that's not what defines your career. It's how your B game is, how your C game is. That's what defines your career, and how destructive that is. So, like for a golfer, if their B game is firing it into the trees off the tee, their career's done.
Yeah,
done. Like they need to be on a bad day, can they still shoot 2 under on a bad day? And this is what you've been doing all season. You're maybe not being at your best, but you've kind of scraped through that semi-final to make the final.
Yeah, well, it's easier in pool because there's different strategies to win. When I'm struggling, I can start turning on my tactical strategy. It's harder for a golfer because they can't find a tactical way around. They've still got to shoot with accuracy. Yeah. Whereas, in a game of pool, right, I'm really struggling here, but my pool brain's better than his. I know that if I feed him crumbs, he's going to go for clearances that he shouldn't be going for, and then I'm going to drag him down. And my tactical game has improved an awful lot. I've learned a lot about the tactical side. And in Heyball, with it being such a difficult game with such tight pockets, there's such a tendency for players, especially inexperienced players, to play on their ego and start bashing in balls. And that's exactly what you want them to do. And Jack Whelan's the king of it. He's a brilliant player, but you don't really see so much when he's struggling because he's so good at just letting him hang himself, and that's what I'm learning from him, really. And that's I suppose, like, even as good as Shep is, he's such a good potter that he knows he can clear from anywhere on the table. So when I'm playing him, you just think, well, give him some crumbs and let him have a go, because even though, and that's what I was doing in the last match against him. And the problem is when he still gets some when they're not even there. He goes, "Come on, mate, it's a decider. I'll break you, and I'll pretend, I'll miss one that I shouldn't really, and leave you have a go at them." and then you miss your last ball, and then
Yeah.
I'll mop
But
it up
he
from
does
there.
it
But
anyway. Yeah.
no, he
Yeah.
does it anyway. He's 4 on the
Yeah.
cushion. He still does some.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you. Yeah. Well, you say, like, it's it's what he can do. Like you say, like, you've all got your strengths. Jack's finding a way to tactically shape his clearing stuff that anybody else would just like play safe and forget even attempting that. Even in practice, when you do it, right? Shep does it in the decider because that's who he is. Which is utterly brilliant. That's why he's so kind of individual and one off. But it's been really good. But no, Steve, thank you so much again for your time. This has just been awesome insight into what has been an unbelievable year for you. And we're just self and James, like, we're just so happy, for you. It's just unbelievable. It's been so much fun, even just between me and James. Like, I don't know how many times, maybe James has had a day where he's busy with the kids, and he's not had a chance to catch up with the results, and he'll just be like, how's Steve doing? And I'm like, well, usual. So what? He's in the final already. I'm like, yeah, well, obviously, yeah, just doing his usual stuff because it's just like expected. It's like, what? What, he lost in the quarters? I'm like, yeah. Usually.
Cheers, Paul.
Amazing.
Yeah,
No, really, really good. But yeah, thank you so much, mate. Absolute legend. Honestly, like, players will get such a kick out of this and seeing how well you've done, and also obviously, God, you put another big result on Facebook. There's always 300 comments, a day, and you go back to the next day, and it's on 1,000 comments. It's just unbelievable the support you get, and well deserved too.
Yeah, thank you, mate. Cheers, Paul.
No, thank you, buddy. I'll see you soon.
Right, take care. Cheers, now.
Thank you.
Ta-ra, pal.